Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Yeah, it's a hot one here today. Let's see, what am I up to? You guys remember this thing? This thing is a 2007, I guess they call it an off-road go-kart. For an engine, it has, what is this thing, 110, 125 cc. I don't know, 110 I think it is, 110 cc's worth of engine. It's got 3-speed plus reverse for a gearbox. There's how you shift it, that lever sitting right there. And if you guys have been following the series on this thing, you know it doesn't want to start. So what I did is I hit it with my portable CDI box. And I rebuilt the carburetor and I sprayed it with starting fluid. And it said, bark at the moon. I'm not starting. So I'm like, alright loser, what's your problem? So I changed the plug and did all that trivia. I did a compression test on it, and the compression test dry was a little bit low. It was about 65 psi, but wet it was about 145 psi. So I'm like, well, it hasn't been running a while. I don't think it's that. So then I said, maybe she jumped time. So I pulled, the plugs out of here. You pull that one out to turn the engine over, and then you pull that one out. And I don't know, could you guys see the line straight down in there? Well, hopefully you can see the line. And maybe sometimes you zoom it in and then back it up. Yeah, I think you guys could see the line. So anyway, that line is top dead center. And the engine goes around this way. So as it's going around this way, obviously the first line it passes is ignition timing. And then the second line is when you're on top dead center. So I turn the engine to top dead center and I check the valves. And this one, the intake was just a tad tight. So I loosened it up. And the exhaust is, I think you guys can hear that, right? So it's loose, though it's a touch tight also. I'm probably going to loosen that one up a little bit. Anyway, so once I was sure it was at top dead center, I have this thing. It's the cylinder leakage tester, Harbor Freight thing. And what you do is you're putting air into the cylinder and you're seeing how quickly it leaks up. You start out by hooking it up, not plugging that in, and you set it to a certain number, and then you plug it in, and depending on what the leakage comes back at, you could see it's upside down. You can get it right side up for you. You could see if you're good, bad, fair, or whatever. So I did the whole calibration on it, obviously, and I'll plug it in. Guys, you got to remember to kind of lock the crank somehow or another. I got that wrench on there locking it, because as you put air pressure in it, when you have the cylinder all the way up and you put air pressure to it, what happens? You push the cylinder all the way down with the air pressure. So that doesn't help much. So let's just smash this on here. Sorry about the bad camera work, folks. Yeah, I gotta put this down for 1 second. Sorry about this, guys. And if you take a look at the gauge, it's on the good scale, right? It says I got a little bit of leakage, and it doesn't seem to be coming out the carburetor. So you can step on the throttle here, see if we modulate it. No. So it's probably, given the not great compression test, it's probably going by the rings. So what I'm going to do now is, given that I've loosened up the intake valve a little bit, I'm going to loosen up the exhaust valve a little bit, and I'm going to try to start it again. But hopefully she'll start, because if the leak back is good and it's got spark, because I've checked to see that it's got spark, and it's got a carburetor, but even without the carburetor, you give it a couple of hoots of starting fluid, you should at least get a little bit of fire. The only time I've seen them really not fire at all is when you have a leak at the intake valve. If your intake valve is leaking out as you put compression on it, right, it's always kind of belching out the intake a little bit, and it really doesn't take in fuel, and it just won't fire. With some minor exhaust leak, you could get fire out of them, but with an intake leak, I've never managed to get any fire out of them. So hopefully that fixes it, and hopefully this thing will start up. And the tires kind of hold, the front ones hold air, seem okay. The back ones hold air for like, minutes. Maybe if I really feel the heck out of them, I'll get an hour out of them. So if I do get it fired up, we might be able to click this thing into first gear and get a little bit of a ride out of it, which would be a blast. Actually, what they've done is, there's supposed to be a little block on the end of the cable there, a little, see the peg on the end of the cable by my finger, and obviously you see what's here, right, just frayed cable. Would be actually great to take this thing for a little rip snort. That'll be fun. Anyway, folks, so 2007 Roketa go-kart. I'm not sure what the brand name is on this thing. I have the feeling it's like the Speed Defies Gravity pit bike, which is made by Speed Defies Gravity, about 14 other labels they smash on it. I have the feeling this is the same thing. I think I'm going to call it the Roketa Off-Road Go-Kart 2007. So we'll see if the tight valves made a difference. If anybody has any questions on any of this stuff, how to use the official cylinder leak back tester, the only comment is the cylinder leak back tester did not come with the right size adapter to do this spark plug hole. I actually had to borrow the adapter from my compression tester kit. Right, they don't include the little adapter, so I had to steal it from this, and it screws right on. The fittings are all the same. It's just the adapter. I didn't have one for the spark plug hole, so you might end up having to buy 2 kits instead of just one. Alright folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.